Hello, friends. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, coming here live for another love circle. And today we are talking about humility. What is true humility? The reason this topic is so close to my heart there's two reasons for that. One, um, humility is usually tied to kind of hitting yourself, playing down yourself. So in the space of unconditional self-love, that is something I get to work through within me, and I help facilitate that journey with my clients as well. And the second aspect is how most of us don't even know what true humility is. And there would be some things I'll be sharing with you today that you might have your mind blown, and you might just say, well, I never thought of it this way, or how could it be this way? So I'm just telling you ahead of time, if at any point it seems like, what in the world I'm talking about, pause, re-listen to it a couple of times. Some of these concepts are very simple, but the way we understand them is so twisted. So it's kind of like relearning. So let's talk about what is humility. Generally, the way we understand is be humble, don't brag, don't try to be in the spotlight, play small, always let other people take space and you don't take space. Now, this is generally how we practice humility. And a person who doesn't want to brag about their accomplishment, we just say, oh, that person is so humble, and they are coming at every other person's level. So that is in terms of actions. We want to talk about what is going on inside of your mind. What is the story you're telling yourself in the term of so-called humility? What is going on within you? And generally, that is holding ourselves back. And every time we hold ourselves back, that is having a negative impact on our life that we don't understand. Let's talk about what is the opposite of humility in our terminology, in our understanding. That is arrogance. That is a person who is maybe, bragging, maybe making other people feel small, maybe they are taking up so much space that everybody else is suffocating. Of course, we don't want to be that person in the room. So what we do, we hold ourselves back and we just don't share things because we we don't want to be in the spotlight. Both are the two extreme that generally we fall under, and they create their own version of inner chaos when it comes to how we show up in the world. So now let's look at the arrogant person. When you see a person who's putting themselves out there and they want to, brag about things, they want to make you feel you're nothing in front of them, that is not a person who have it all. That is a person who's so afraid within them that they have created that shell around them that is pushing people away. So even that person is not in possession of that, deep inner power that we are talking about. Now, the person who's being so-called humble, they are dimming their light. They are not doing any favor to anybody either, because in a way, they are being arrogant as well. They are withholding what's supposed to be shared. So when we withhold what's supposed to be shared, that is when we are um, keeping it to ourselves. That is when we are again being arrogant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my notes here so I can take a look at them and I can make sure I'm sharing all the points, because I have a lot to share. When we are in arrogance, or when we are in so-called what we think is humility, there's a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust that I cannot be all that I am. If I will share all that I am, somehow that is not a good thing. When we are stuck in that lack of trust, that is when we are being arrogant. We are not being humble because we are withholding from sharing. And that could be a moment where two people are coming together, and now that is the moment where they are supposed to share the energy with each other. Maybe somebody's asking you of your opinion. You don't want to brag. You don't want to share. You just played small. You share the half truth with them. In that moment, there's definitely lack of trust, but in that moment, you're stealing energy from that person. That energy belonged to them, that advice belonged to them. Maybe we can even call it, lack of better word, that teaching moment belonged to them because every moment is happening for a reason. We are in this moment together for a reason. I'll share a very quick example from something that happened in my DM earlier this week regarding somebody reaching out to me and questioning the kind of leader I am, the kind of things that I stand for based on an event that I'll be hosting with one of my friend next week. And that questioning that came, that judgment that came from that person, I just led with another question. I just questioned, I questioned, and of course, that person didn't like me questioning them. They most likely maybe thought that I'm being arrogant, I'm being polite, and then I brought it back to, hey, your first question or the message that you came up with, that is what unkindness and judgment feels like. So I use that as a moment to reveal light within both of us. First, I had to check in with myself. Am I responding from a reactive place? Or can I see the light within this moment and I can guide them to that light within that moment? That is what my intention was. That person maybe took it however they like to take it. Maybe I'm already unfriended or however that went down. But just to share with you that when we start living with every moment has a purpose, that is when we are not being arrogant. That is when we are being humble. And we'll go in more detail um, as we move along. When we are being arrogant, again, when we are withholding that light, we are not living our full potential. So what could it feel like? It could feel like I'm so afraid of sharing, like, this talent that I have in the world. Who am I to share? For example, I just published my first ebook. I believe it was last week. Um, and for some people, it would be like, who am I to publish a book? And like, nobody's going to read my work. It doesn't matter. There's light within you that is supposed to be shared. If I hold that light within me, and I know there's so much light within me that I'm still holding, so that is arrogance that I am working through slowly. When you withhold yourself from being all that you are, you're being arrogant. You're not being humble. And that is where we want to get very honest with ourselves and stop lying to ourselves because a lot of people under the umbrella of I'm being humble, they're just withholding and concealing a lot of light that needs to be shared with the world because it is there for a reason. The next thing we can talk about when we hide behind fear, when we are so afraid to do something, maybe you're afraid of changing your career, maybe you're afraid of starting a new relationship, maybe you're afraid of letting go of your relationship, maybe you're afraid of buying a bigger place, maybe you're afraid of moving to a different place. That is all coming under arrogance. That's not being humble. Because what's happening? You're holding yourself back. Every time you hold yourself back, you hold energy back. When every time we use this, I just bit my tongue when we don't want to share what we really want to share. Of course, we don't want to share from our reactive place. But let's say if there is a teaching moment, first check in with yourself. Don't be reactive. See the light in another person, and then bring that light to the surface. Because in that moment, that person is there in your field, because both of you are going to become a better version. So when you hold that back out of fear of rejection, or out of fear of being accepted, or you want to be people pleasing, you're being arrogant. You're not being humble. The way we are taught humility turns us into people pleasers. And that is where we are stealing energy from other people. We are not really sharing energy with the interactions that we have. And once again, if this concept is like a little bit confusing, please reach out to me. You can send me a DM anytime. If you're watching on YouTube, you can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com. You can book a conversation with me to help me um, help you. Um, okay, so the next one we are talking about is when we are being humble, we love ourselves a little bit. That is where I work with my clients a lot. A lot of people, they think self-love is selfish. Self-love will make them arrogant. Self-love means that they will stop caring about other people and they will just become self-centered. Self-centered person is an arrogant person because they don't even see the light within them and they have created walls around them and now they are just pushing everybody away. So that'd be a person. Sometime we look at life and we start to grow and then outgrow our family and then we're like, everybody's toxic. I'm not gonna talk to anybody. I'm going to go and hide in my corner and I'm just going to grow. That's coming from a place I'm better than everybody else. There could be another way to look at it. I have outgrown my family. They're perfect, whoever they are. I'm perfect, whoever I am. I am going to love them from a distance and I will be there for them if they need me. There's no calling people and telling them you're too toxic. I'm canceling you out of my life or never picking up their phone call. If they call you, pick up your phone call. If they respond to you, answer that message. That will be a person who is at the level of humility and not at the level of arrogance. There's a huge difference. And in few minutes, I'll be sharing how you can get to that level yourself. So when you truly start loving yourself, that is when you become humble because you can see all the light that is within you and you don't have to create walls around you. So the fake humility that we live with is in fact arrogance and it's not real humility. So now let's talk about what is true humility. True humility is a place of detachment. And my friend, I can tell you from being on this path personally, detachment takes a whole lifetime and maybe multiple lifetimes. And maybe you'll be able to practice it in one area and in the other area it will pop up. Like for example, right now it has popped up in some of my relationships and I am working through that. And I can tell you from firsthand experience the kind of challenge I go through every single day as I move an inch every single day being detached in that area of my life. So true humility is nothing belongs to me. No human belong to me. No accomplishment belongs to me. No moment belongs to me. No fame belongs to me. No money belongs to me. So when I am going to share it, I'm going to share it 100%. Instead of thinking it's my book and I need to hold it and I need to do X, Y, and Z, no, I'll just share it all. Every Thursday, when I come here and I put these videos out or I share this knowledge, I'm sharing fully. I don't hold anything back. Whatever my clients are getting, you're getting. Now, the difference where someone will end up being a paid client, unless you make that energy exchange, which is investing money in yourself, you are not going to absorb the universal knowledge. You're not going to have the elevation of your consciousness. You'll get to the awareness level. And this is me just being very honest with you. I have personally been on that journey. So the way I find my mentor, I'll maybe read their book. I'll maybe watch a video of them or buy a course from them and I'll become aware. Oh wow, there's another level of growth I can get to and this person can take me through that. If I just stick to watching whatever they are sharing and all my mentor they share 100%, I'll become aware, but the transformation happens when we invest um money in it because money is energy. So it's not just about me. Anything you want to transform in your life, invest money in it, and you'll be surprised the results that you'll see, whether it's your health, whether it's your wealth. If you want to grow your wealth, invest some money in learning how to do that, whether it's your psychological well-being, whether it's your relationships. If you're on dating apps, invest some money in, like, maybe paid dating apps, or be open to invest some money on your dates, maybe the way you look. When you invest that energy that we call currency, when you invest that, that is when you get to the transformation level. But in terms of what I'm sharing with you, I don't withhold anything back because nothing belongs to me. This knowledge I receive from others. I'm just a channel. I am just sharing. The more I share, the more I get to expand. Same way, whatever is within you, it could be a talent, it could be your wisdom, it could be your experience. It does not belong to you, my friend. It's meant to be shared. If you're sitting there thinking, who am I to share? I have nothing to share. You're being arrogant. If you really want to be humble, start sharing. And I know what I'm talking about is not an easy thing to do. I challenge myself every single day, and I challenge you too. Whatever is within you, start sharing it. That is what true humility is. Now let's see um, how we can really grasp it, how we can understand it in a way where where it becomes part of you. So the first one would be loving yourself fully, loving all parts of you. Maybe you have something to share, but you don't like the way you show up on the video. Start accepting that, loving that, because your face doesn't belong to you. Maybe right now you're 100 pounds more than where you would like to be. That doesn't belong to you either. And when you would lead with it doesn't belong to me, it doesn't belong to me, I am here in this moment for a reason, it becomes so much easy to share. That is when you can start leaning towards humility. If you don't like the way you talk, learn to love that aspect of yourself more by going to, it doesn't belong to me. You know, your voice can change. Even with the healing work that you do, the more I work on my throat, my voice changes, the way I talk changes, your vocabulary changes. You can work with a voice coach, everything can change. So that is where we understand that nothing belongs to you. So share all of you without holding anything back. Give yourself all the love that you have, all the love that we give to other people. We all are full of love. We just don't want to give it to ourselves, thinking we'll become um, egoistic or self-centered. But the truth is, when you truly love yourself, that is when you become humble, because that is when you get detached from the identity you hold so dear to yourself, because now you're in acceptance. The second aspect of building this consciousness of true humility, because this is soul consciousness, this is not ego consciousness. Ego consciousness says, it's mine, this face is mine, this voice is mine. If somebody doesn't like it, they're attacking me. Soul consciousness is nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to the light force that created you, the light force that created me. Everything belongs to the light. It doesn't belong to us. The next aspect of it is every moment is an opportunity to expand. So let's say if we are in this moment, and let's say me and you are having a conversation, this is a moment, this is an opportunity to expand. Either you'll share what is coming up within you, or you will not share. If you will hold it back, now you're in your ego, and now you're being arrogant. But if you will share it, even if you think that's not maybe technically the right thing to share, but you'll be like, let me just put it out there. Now you have shared your light. And maybe in that moment it feels heavy, but because you have shared it, you have transformed it, and you are in that consciousness, nothing belongs to me. So I'm not going to take it so personally. Now, let's look at it. Sometime when we go through life and there's some very difficult moment, we judge ourselves, we hate ourselves, we tell ourselves, why did you do this way? Why did you do that way? What is wrong with you? That is when we start hating on ourselves. If you look back at those moments and you can say, this moment is perfect the way it is, it doesn't belong to me. It's here just to expand me and not identify with it. Now, that is where I help a lot of my clients. That is the journey I have been through, not identifying with what you go through, because that is just a moment. It it cannot define you. For example, let's say you're going through bankruptcy. A lot of people will hide behind that shame. They'll dim their light. They will just, completely get off radar because there's so much shame around them. So that is one case scenario. That is a person who's stuck in their arrogance because they think this problem defines them. That is arrogance. Then there's person B who's like, this doesn't belong to me. This is just something I'm going through that is going to help me expand, that is going to activate something within me that has not been activated yet. That is a person who's in humility. And that is the same person who's going to do everything. They're going to get back out there. They are going to start doing more effort than before. They maybe will, reach out for more resources. They'll make more connection. And that is the person who's going to come out with such a bright, shining light. And they're going to share that wisdom with other people. Now tell me which one is humble. So, humility would be when you start living with that every moment exists to expand me, and I am not going to let it identify me. When you go through divorce, what happens? People go through divorce, and then, of course, everything changes. The family changes, the friend circle changes. So, what they do, they go in hiding. Sometimes they go back to school, they get a second master, they get a PhD, they're just in their tiny bubble. They don't want to deal with anybody because, that becomes their identity. I went through this. That means I'm not enough. That means there's something wrong with me. And now even other people are treating me that bad way. That is arrogance. That's not humility. What would be humility? Oh, wow. Nothing belongs to me. If I am going through this, this must be good for me. There must be some kind of expansion within me. Now, maybe I can look within me and I can redefine who I am. So you get to make a choice who you are. You don't have to identify yourself as just because, there was a failure in your relationship, there's something wrong with you. Maybe you can say it like, it was meant to be only this far. It did it purpose. It activated something within me. Now I can see more light within me. I can see all the wonderful things that are within me that, this challenge has brought to the surface. Now I'm going to share it with the world, or now I'm going to share that light with other people. So that is true humility. When we start to live in that detached way, when we don't hold our light back, when we are out and about and sharing that light, that is true humility, my friend. The key thing is do not identify with what you possess, what you experience. And so much of our, uh, I think, identity comes from what we do and what we have. I'm a parent, that is my identity. And of course, when kids leave home, our whole identity comes crumbling down. And some of us even end up in depression because we don't know who else to be. So that is a person who's been stuck in arrogance all those years that it's mine. The truth is, nothing belongs to you. Anything can leave our life anytime. Anything can happen anytime. When we start to live with nothing belongs to me, I just get to experience different stuff, and that's it. You're completely detached. And I do understand it takes a lot of work to get to that level. There are some layers that you will be peeling off before you get there. But if you just give yourself a goal to be at that level of consciousness where you truly can feel detached, that in itself is shifting something within you. It's doing something within you. And it's already taking you towards being a real humble person, not a pretend humble person. Most of us, we are just pretending to be humble and we're not really there. I find myself every once in a while, at least once a week, if not once every few days, that I'm not really being humble. Or maybe if I look at it every single day, I find that I'm not being humble, I'm being arrogant. But that requires being very, 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 very honest with ourselves. And sometimes we are afraid of being honest with ourselves because we know we are going to find a lot of, junk under that we have shoved under the rug. Um, when we are leading with everything belongs to me, one of the things I want to share is I shared it a little bit, a talent. Maybe you have a PhD right now. Maybe you're a medical doctor. Maybe you're a pharmacist. Maybe you're one of the best lawyers out there. Maybe you're the best coach out there. Maybe you're the best at whatever. When you lead with, it doesn't belong to me. It was given to me, it can taken away any moment. That is true humility. Something beautiful happens with that level of consciousness. You will not feel pressured. You will feel you can trust whatever that word means to you. You can trust in whatever you're being guided to. But when you say, it's me, I did this work, I got myself here because I studied for 15 plus years, or I mean, I'm studying three different disciplines right now, and I spend, more hours studying than really being with my clients. And if I say, oh, I am doing all this, I'm doing all this, you know what will happen? We will feel pressured. If you're feeling pressured in your life, somewhere, somehow you're being arrogant and you're not being humble because now it's on you. I must do perfect. I must do 100%. I cannot fail. There's so much pressure within you. The truth is, the moment you're going to go through exist already. You're going to go through that. Either you go through that moment laughing, feeling relaxed, or you go through the same moment crying and feeling stressed. Which one would you prefer? If you prefer relax, then the switch happens in your consciousness, nothing belongs to me. When I sit down to prepare anything, or if I am working with my client, I don't feel pressured at all because I know nothing belongs to me. When I am in that moment, the right words, the right thought, the right modality will just show up. I'll be guided. That is trust. And I am so surprised ever since I started to operate that way. I'm so surprised the kind of deep work we get to do in a session. Sometime I'm halfway and something just comes, I grab it and I'll take my client on a whole new process. And at the end of the process, I'm just like, where did that come from? I don't remember even learning it. That is the beauty of when we turn towards true humility, when we detach ourselves, because here's what's happening. Your heart is opening. You have access to the wisdom of your soul now. You have access to the abundance of your soul when you start to live with that detached level of consciousness. And I call that soul consciousness. So, whatever talent you feel so proud of, or the career you feel so proud of, and now you're feeling so stressed and pressure because what happens? What if I lose my job? What if I lose my business? What if I lose this partnership? Whatever you're so stressed about, or what if I lose my 401k, or my portfolio and this and that? Whatever you feel so pressured by, so stressed by, practice this. It doesn't belong to me. I just get to experience it, and the experience keeps changing. And see, how does that feel? How does that feel within you? Another thing we can bring in for true humility is feel grateful for the experience of it, not the possession of it. Let's say right now you're on vacation and you're just having such a blissful moment. Feel grateful that, oh, wow, I get to experience this moment instead of going towards like, because I worked really hard for this past year, because I had this extra money, now I get to go here. Because there's a very fine line that will take you towards arrogance, and you're going to start feeling pressure. You'll be like, oh my God, what if I run out of money? What if when I go back home and I don't get more money and this and that? It's going to ruin the moment for you. Be grateful just for the experience, not about how you got there. When you start to be grateful for just that experience from a place of detachment, that is, my friend, true humility. And you are going to experience what real bliss is. And the reason I'm smiling, because that is one aspect I'm working on consistently. And there's a huge difference how I get to experience life now versus before I learned these concepts. Two more aspects to tie in the consciousness of true humility. Whatever you're going through, as we talked about, that moment doesn't belong to you, that talent doesn't belong to you, that person doesn't belong to you. Everything is coming from the light, everything is the experience of light. Your soul is choosing those moments to experience for a very specific reason to transform the darkness within you into light, to expand, to realize its oneness with the Creator. So that was our purpose in a nutshell. Your soul is choosing to go through these experiences, and your soul is always in control. So why do you have to be in control? And again, that comes from when we don't attach ourselves to this is mine, this home is mine, so I must be able to pay the mortgage. What if I don't pay the mortgage? These kids are mine, they must turn out good. Otherwise, what will I do with that? When you let go of that and you realize nothing belongs to you, your nervous system starts to calm down. And practice that just for an hour. Practice this level of consciousness. Everything that you experience is an experience that belongs to your soul. Don't identify with it. Don't attach your identity with it. You are complete just the way you are. You don't need to have, the love of your life next to you. You don't need to have the high-fi bank balance to feel somebody. You don't need to have it all to feel you're somebody. You're already somebody. And if you get to have it all, wonderful. But do not identify with that. Identify with the true, magical, infinite being that you already are, and you will feel humble. And that would be true humility. And once again, just to put it all together, if you feel pressured and stressed in life, my friend, you're not in the space of true humility. And maybe you'll go through many cycles of it throughout the day. That is how you know. If you're feeling pressured, if you're feeling stressed, that means you're in that mind consciousness. Pause. Remind yourself nothing belongs to me. I am just experiencing whatever I'm experiencing. It does not identify me, it does not define me. I'm complete just the way I am, no matter how I am or where I am right now. I'm complete. That is true humility. I trust that you have found this conversation enlightening. And if you have any question, please reach out to me. You can send me a DM. You can go to my website. You can book a call with me from there. It's aliajamalcoaching.com. And if this is something that you really want to work on, and this is how you will know that you want to work on it. If you're a person who feels so stressed, so pressured, then this is something you will work on building within yourself. You can always reach out to me, and I would love to be your guide to get you to a place where you can experience life from a blissful, joyful, and peaceful place. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.